Romeo and Juliet, Act 4. In the 16th century, religious change in England had become the central issue. Shakespeare's Queen, Elizabeth I, had her claims to the throne bound up with the rejection by her father Henry VIII of papal authority. Shortly after her accession at Christmas 1558, she very ostentatiously walked out of Mass. Relations with Catholics got worse and worse. Elizabeth met with severe opposition in Parliament from Catholic bishops, leading to a purging of the House of Lords, ruthlessly excluding them. After years and years of struggle, even open revolt, the Pope excommunicated Elizabeth and absolved her subjects from their obedience to her. He was telling her Catholic subjects that rebellion against this heretic queen was no sin. And so a series of plots to murder the queen were discovered. Catholic priests were secretly smuggled into England to stiffen the resolve of the Catholic faithful, and the scene was very tense. Following what was seen at the time as the divine deliverance in the Spanish Armada campaign, priests who landed in England to do God's work among the Catholic faithful, as they saw it, were inevitably regarded by the government as the traitorous servants of a foreign power. Catholic priests were arrested and executed, together with the lay people who had hid them. Increasingly, England became a nation that was prone to regard itself as a beleaguered island, threatened by mighty enemies. Catholicism inevitably became tainted by its association with that threat. The Catholic community as an entity lay under the shadow of distrust, and it was subject to a developing prejudice which would take centuries to dispel. Friar Lawrence, too, lay under the shadow of distrust. As Juliet speaks, "What if it be poison which the friar subtly hath ministered to have me dead, lest in this marriage he should be dishonored, because he married me before to Romeo? I fear it is." The friar is also much dishonored in the eyes of 16th century Elizabethans because he has violated the social morality of the time between fathers and their children. A neat statement of Tudor perceptions of the social order can be found in a book of homilies or official sermons published by the Church of England. These sermons prescribed the ideal conditions for the prospering of the kingdom, and the central ideals of the morality included harmony, duty, and order. The homily on obedience read, "Almighty God hath created and appointed all things in heaven, earth, and waters in a most excellent and perfect order. In heaven he hath appointed distinct orders and estates of archangels and angels. In earth he hath assigned kings, princes, with other governors under them, all in a good and necessary order. Every degree of people in their vocation, their calling, and their office have appointed to them their duty and order. Some are in high degree, some in low, some kings and princes, some inferiors and subjects, priests and laymen, masters and servants, fathers and children, husbands and wives. Elizabethans would have seen that in Friar Lawrence's abuse of the social order ordained by God, things have dissolved into the disorderly confusion that is Act 4. But with Shakespeare, things are never in black and white terms, as we see with the behavior of Juliet's father in Act 3, Scene 5. Here, there is a complete contradiction to the social order of the time. To the homily on marriage, which reads, "The woman is a weak creature, not endowed with the like strength and constancy of mind as men. Therefore they are the sooner disquieted, and they be the more prone to weak affections and dispositions of the mind, more than men be." Act 3, Scene 5 could not be in more disagreement with this official statement. So we see that Shakespeare brings into question the validity of all of this, the very basis and foundation of 16th century beliefs, of the morality of the time, of the identity, roles, and duties of society. Romeo and Juliet brings into question, with these contradictions, the social perceptions of the time